Yan Yao sensed the violent fluctuations erupting from within Xiao Yan's body. At last, a look of shock appeared on his face. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. Picking up from before, a savage gale tore across the battlefield, shrieking like a wrathful spirit as it swept away the choking dust and smoldering smoke. The rolling clouds of debris were scattered in an instant, and as the haze thinned, a lone figure in a thin black robe was revealed, standing unmoved amidst the devastation, as steady as a mountain against the storm. High above in the sky, 3 pairs of eyes narrowed simultaneously. Zhuang Yuanzi's expression turned contemplative. Mu Hengtian's brows furrowed slightly. Tong Dan's gaze sharpened with disbelief. Flame Emperor, Xiao Yan, Zhuang Yuanzi murmured, "Peak 9th grade supreme." Mu Hengtian added his tone heavy, from a lower plane. Tong Dan finished staring intently at the figure below. A faint trace of doubt flickered in his eyes, as though struggling to reconcile rumor with reality. The man below them stood quietly, black robes fluttering in the violent wind. Though his aura was restrained, a subtle heat seemed to permeate the air around him, distorting the very space with invisible ripples. Zhuang Yuanzi suddenly chuckled, the sound light, but edged with condescension. His gaze locked onto Xiao Yan like a falcon sizing up its prey. "So you are the companion of that snake woman?" His voice carried effortlessly through the sky. "Your wife has already been returned to you. Why have you come again?" A pause. "Even if you are considered a genius from a lower plane, with your current strength, do you truly believe you can contend with us?" His smile widened faintly. "Or are you simply tired of living?" The oppressive pressure from the 3 experts above subtly intensified like an invisible mountain pressing downward. Yet Xiao Yan did not respond immediately. Instead, he lifted his head slowly, his dark eyes calm, too calm. There was no fear within them, only a quiet, burning resolve. Before he could speak, however, Palace Master Zhuang speaks with such confidence. "Are you looking down on those from the lower plane?" The voice was steady and composed, yet it resonated across heaven and earth like a distant bell, clear and undeniable. The next instant, a deep, humming vibration spread through the air. Space above the massive crater twisted violently, folding inward like fabric caught in a whirlpool. Cracks of spatial distortion rippled outward, releasing an overwhelming surge of spiritual pressure. From within the warped void, a tall figure stepped forward slowly. Wu Wanlong. His robes fluttered as he emerged, eyes cold and sharp. His presence alone enough to alter the flow of spiritual energy in the surrounding region. The sky trembled once more. Another ripple, another distortion. Xia Tianqing followed, appearing silently at Wu Wanlong's side. Though she spoke not a word, the faint fluctuations around her revealed a cultivation no less formidable. The balance of power shifted instantly. Below, within the giant crater scarred by earlier combat, He Yuanyun stared upward in disbelief. His expression froze as he took in the gathering of figures, each one a powerhouse capable of shaking entire regions. Their arrival had far exceeded his expectations. "How are you here?" He Yuanyun asked, his voice betraying his shock. Xiao Yan glanced toward him, the corner of his lips lifting slightly, not in arrogance but in quiet reassurance. "That's a long story," he said calmly. "You should worry about yourself first." As he spoke, the dazzling flames that had previously encircled him began to withdraw. One by one, the heavenly flames returned to his body, azure, crimson, golden, and violet streaks of divine fire converging into his form. The temperature of the battlefield dropped subtly, yet the sense of danger did not diminish. Instead, it condensed, contained, focused. The winds continued to howl, but now they seemed restless, as though aware that something far more terrifying than a storm was about to unfold. High above, Zhuang Yuanzi's smile faded slightly. A genius from a lower plane. Perhaps, but the aura rising from the black-robed youth no longer felt like that of a mere peak 9th grade supreme. It felt deeper, as though beneath the calm surface lay an ocean of flame waiting to erupt. At the same time, two clusters of flame suddenly burst forth from within Xiao Yan's body. One was a vibrant emerald blaze brimming with boundless vitality, the life flame. Wherever its radiance touched the air itself seemed to pulse with rejuvenating force. The other was a deep purple-black fire, silent yet tyrannical, the 3,000 burning flame. Tiny specks of starlight shimmered faintly within it, as if a fragment of the night sky had been refined into fire. The two heavenly flames shot into the air and began to revolve above her Yuan Yun's head, weaving together in a slow, deliberate orbit. Emerald light intertwined with violet-black brilliance. Under their enveloping glow, Yuan Yun felt a warm current surge through his meridians. His shattered spiritual veins mended at a visible pace, fractured bones knit together. The chaotic spiritual energy within his body gradually stabilized. His pale complexion regained a trace of color. So fast, Yuan Yun muttered inwardly, astonishment flashing across his eyes. In just a few breaths' time, injuries that would have taken days to suppress were already healing. As I expected, Xiao Yan spoke softly, his gaze rising once more toward the sky. It truly was someone among the 12 Saint Sons manipulating things behind the scenes. His eyes first settled on Zhuang Yuanzi, then drifted to Mu Hengtian. But they did not stop there. Further away, suspended in mid-air, a bald young man in a long brown coat floated with arms folded behind his back. His expression was cold and detached, as if everything below was merely a spectacle. His gaze met Xiao Yan's, sharp, heavy. Without a word, an invisible pressure radiated from him, pressing down like a concealed blade. "That's the fourth Saint Sun Tongdan," Yuan Yun said quietly from behind Xiao Yan, his voice steady, though his eyes remained solemn. "I didn't expect this time to be schemed against by two Saint Sons. Two Saint Sons moving in secret. This was no ordinary ambush. It was a calculated move. Just then, whoosh, whoosh, two figures descended from the heavens with piercing sounds of air being torn apart. Spiritual power surged as Wu Wanlong and Xia Tianqing landed steadily beside them, their expressions grave. Wu Wanlong's eyes swept across the battlefield before locking onto Mu Hengtian and Zhuang Yuanzi. "Palace Master Xia and I will intercept Mu Hengtian and Zhuang Yuanzi," he said in a deep voice, his aura already beginning to rise. Xia Tianqing gave a faint nod, her spiritual energy spreading outward like an invisible domain, instantly isolating a portion of the sky. The battlefield was dividing. Hearing this, Yuan Yun exhaled slowly and pushed himself to his feet. Though his injuries were not fully healed with the assistance of the life flame, he had regained the ability to fight. "Tongdan will be mine," he declared. His gaze hardened as he stared at the bald Saint Sun. "His strength is greater than mine, but I can make him wary. Even if he could not defeat Tongdan, he could delay him, force him to expend energy, disrupt his rhythm. That alone would be enough." He then turned to Xiaoyan, eyes serious. "Can you hold off Yan Yao?" The name carried weight. In the distance, a figure clad in crimson robes stood quietly, his presence subtle, yet suffused with an unsettling heat. Compared to Tongdan's oppressive aura, Yan Yao felt like a dormant volcano. Xiao Yan glanced toward him and smiled faintly. "I'll try," he said calmly. "If I can't win, I can still escape." His tone was relaxed, almost casual, yet the confidence within it was unmistakable. Yuan Yun studied him for a brief moment, then nodded. "When I left the clan, I gave the great elder a divine soul imprint," he continued. "If I suffer heavy injury, the imprint will react." A faint glimmer flickered between his brows as he spoke. "When that happens, the great elder will sense it immediately." The implication was clear. Reinforcements would come. The air grew heavy once more as the opposing sides silently formed their matchups. Wu Wanlong and Xia Tianqing against Mu Hengtian and Zhuang Yuanzi, Yuan Yun against Tongdan, and Xiao Yan against Yan Yao. The wind howled through the ruined battlefield, carrying the scent of scorched earth and lingering flame. For a brief moment, everything fell silent. Then spiritual energy surged like a tidal wave. The great battle was about to erupt. I think when I was injured earlier, the great elder must have already sensed it, he Yuanyun said in a low voice, his expression steady despite the tension in the air. And now that the other two saint sons have left their positions, he may already be following the divine soul imprint. To come here. A faint glimmer flickered between his brows as he spoke, as though an invisible thread stretched far into the distance, connecting him to a distant, terrifying existence. The 12 saint sons are divided into 2 camps, he continued. Our side has the great elder's protection. His gaze sharpened. You only need to hold on until he arrives. Xiaoya nodded once. No further words were needed. Everyone present understood one thing clearly. The great battle ahead was unavoidable. Once the first move was made, there would be no retreat. Having decided their respective opponents, none of them hesitated any longer. Boom. Spiritual power erupted like exploding stars. Wu Wanlong and Xia Tianqing transformed into streaks of light shooting toward Mu Hengtian and Zhuang Yuanzi. Her Yuanyun's figure blurred as he ascended toward Tongdan, his aura surging with renewed determination. In the blink of an eye, the battlefield split apart. The sky above the massive crater trembled violently as multiple domains of power clashed and expanded, isolating different regions. And in the center of it all, only Xiaoyan and Yan Yo remained facing one another across the wind-torn sky. Silence fell between them. Yan Yao stood in crimson robes, long sleeves fluttering in the gale. His expression was indifferent, yet his eyes were cold as frost. Our ancient god clan has treated your lower plane quite well, he said slowly, his voice calm but edged with disdain. If not for our clan's experts intervening back then, your lower plane would have long been slaughtered by the extraterritorial evil race. The words carried the weight of superiority, as though he were stating an undeniable truth. He looked down slightly at Xiaoyan. So if I spare your life today, wouldn't it be wiser for you to flee? The wind howled between them. Xiaoyan's black robe swayed gently. His face remained composed, but a faint smile gradually curved his lips. Sorry, he replied evenly. I've never even seen the extraterritorial evil race. His eyes were calm, but beneath that calmness lay a subtle defiance. So I don't know how to thank you for your salvation. The final word lingered in the air like a blade. Yan Yao's pupils shrank abruptly. The temperature of the surrounding space plummeted. It seems, he said softly, each word dripping with cold, killing intent, that people from low-grade planes are unworthy of our goodwill. The moment his voice fell, boom, a monstrous grey flame erupted from his body. It was not the blazing crimson of ordinary fire, nor the dazzling gold of divine flames. This flame was ashen grey, thick and suffocating, like endless smoke condensed into substance. The grey fire spiraled upward, transforming into a heaven-piercing pillar of flame. It roared into the sky, distorting space and swallowing light, as though even the sun's radiance was being devoured. The air became heavy. The sky dimmed. The terrifying power contained within that flame caused even Xiaoyan's gaze to sharpen instantly. He recognized it at once. This grey flame, ranked 43rd on the 100 million flame rankings. The smoke flame. Unlike most flames that burned with explosive heat, the smoke flame was insidious and domineering. It corroded spiritual energy, invaded meridians, and suffocated opponents in layers of toxic burning ash. Once entangled by it, even powerful cultivators would find their spiritual power gradually consumed. Yan Yo raised a hand slowly. The towering grey flame obeyed like a living entity, coiling behind him like a colossal serpent made of smoke and fire. Let me show you, Yan Yao said coldly, the difference between a saint's son and a so-called flame emperor from a lower plane. The pillar of grey fire trembled, then exploded outward. In an instant, the sky was engulfed in a boundless sea of smoke and flame, surging toward Xiaoyan like the descent of a catastrophic apocalypse. At the same time, countless brilliant flames began to swirl around Xiaoyan. Azure, crimson, golden, emerald, violet, 26. Heavenly flames burst forth in unison. orbiting his body like a blazing constellation. Each flame radiated its own terrifying fluctuation, yet under Xiao Yan's control, they moved in perfect harmony. The temperature between heaven and earth soared violently. Even the surging grey smoke flame hesitated for a split second under the overwhelming heat. Xiao Yan's hand seals shifted at blinding speed. After images layered upon one another as his spiritual power poured out without restraint. The surrounding heavenly flames responded instantly, converging toward a single point before him. Flame upon flame intertwined, power upon power fused. In just a few breaths, a completely white figure slowly took form. It stood tall and silent before Xiao Yan, its body seemingly carved from pure white flame. No color, no impurity, only a blinding absolute brilliance that distorted space wherever it flickered. This was the fusion of 26 heavenly flames. The fluctuation it emitted was vast and ancient, its pressure spreading outward like invisible tides. Even Yan Yao's smoke flame roared in response, as if sensing a rival. The two forces clashed in mid-air without yet touching. "Don't think relying on quantity will allow you to fight me." Yan Yao sneered, though his gaze had grown sharper. The gap between an Earth Supreme and a ninth-grade Supreme is not something you can comprehend. As his voice fell, he slowly raised his palm. Boom! The sky darkened. A massive 10,000 zhang spiritual mountain materialized above, condensing from boundless spiritual energy. It was ancient, heavy, and oppressive, like a fragment of a primordial continent torn from the heavens. Just its appearance caused the air to collapse and the sea of fire below to tremble. This was the true power of an Earth Supreme. How powerful is an Earth Supreme? Xiao Yan's eyes burned with fighting intent. Let me experience it myself. Exotic Flame Plaza. His deep shout echoed like thunder. The white figure before him erupted in brilliance. In an instant, flames spread in all directions, transforming the entire world into a boundless sea of fire. Within the fire sea, a gigantic plaza emerged. It was vast and ancient, formed entirely of flame. 26 towering stone pillars rose into the sky, encircling the battlefield. Atop each pillar burned a different heavenly flame, their auras intertwining and resonating. The exotic Flame Plaza had descended. The smoke flame's grey domain was forcibly pushed back. Eternal Ruler. Xiao Yan's voice rang with authority. At once, streams of flame shot down from the 26 pillars, converging in the center of the plaza. In a mere breath, they condensed into a colossal flaming ruler, its surface etched with countless flame patterns, radiating destructive power capable of annihilating worlds. Carrying the boundless sea of fire, the eternal ruler slashed upward. It struck the spiritual mountain head-on. Boom! The collision shook heaven and earth. The fire sea surged wildly. The spiritual mountain trembled violently, cracks spreading across its vast surface. Space shattered in layers around the point of impact. Break. Xiao Yan roared. A brilliant beam of white light pierced upward from below. The 10,000 zhang mountain exploded. Fragments of spiritual energy rained down like meteors, collapsing and scattering in all directions. But before the shattered remnants could disperse, a figure shot through the debris. Black flames erupted outward, devouring the falling fragments in an instant. The broken mountain was swallowed entirely, leaving nothing behind. Within the sky-filling black flames, Xiao Yan stood suspended mid-air. His aura surged wildly. A fierce smile spread across his face. A chilling voice echoed across the battlefield, causing even Yan Yao's pupils to contract. If a ninth-grade Supreme can't defeat you, the white flame figure suddenly transformed into a streak of light and rushed straight into Xiao Yan's body. Then what about this? Boom! The moment the white figure merged with him, incomparably violent fluctuations exploded outward. The sky roared. Wind and thunder intertwined as dark clouds gathered out of nowhere. The earth below trembled violently, fissures spreading across the ruined landscape. Xiao Yan's aura climbed at a terrifying speed. It tore through its previous limits without hesitation. Spiritual energy within 1,000 li spiraled toward him, like a collapsing vortex, pouring into his body in an unstoppable torrent. Yan Yao's expression finally changed. Shock, genuine shock, filled his face. He could clearly feel it. That barrier, that threshold separating ninth grade Supreme from Earth Supreme, it was crumbling. An incredulous voice escaped his lips. "You're actually—" He stared at Xiao Yan as the latter's aura surged to a completely new level. Breaking through to Earth Supreme. That's all for today's content. See you in the next part. Support me by becoming a member. It will give me more motivation. Thank you so much.